car to drive his family 25 hours from Kansas City to California.
We'll probably end up bringing each other's necks by the end of it, potentially, but we'll see how it goes, I guess.
And in Texas, dozens of angry passengers arrived in Houston after driving 24 hours from New York City.
I hate them. I need to drive 9 more hours. My feet are swollen. I'm upset. I'm stressed.
ABC's Rhiannon Alley, 2,300 more flights canceled today. The holiday storm blamed for the cancellation chaos, and at least 37 dead in hard-hit Buffalo, New York. Conditions there just now starting to improve.
Nearly a week after the deadliest storm in Buffalo's history, signs of normalcy finally returning to the area overnight. The city's driving ban came to an end. The mayor announcing that most roads are passable. And so it is time to finally allow people to travel safely. Area highways, including portions of I-190, have reopened, and the city's airport, which has been closed since Friday, is back up and running.
ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi in Buffalo. New jobless numbers this morning from the Labor Department, and they look good.
In the week just ended, 225,000 Americans filed paperwork for unemployment benefits for the first time. That's an increase of 9,000 from the week before. The less volatile 4-week moving average was lower last week, but only slightly. All told, 1.6 million unemployed Americans are getting help from state or federal sources, considerably lower than the same period last year. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
You're listening to ABC News.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible end-of-the-year sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building at end of the year savings. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
Ukraine suffering new airstrikes from Russia, 69 missiles launched hitting critical infrastructure overnight. Israel's new government is sworn in today amid protests and controversy.
Benjamin Netanyahu swearing in the most right-wing and religious government in Israel's history, what has prompted thousands to protest outside parliament during the ceremony. This will be Netanyahu's 6th term as prime minister, but the first one where he has handed powerful positions to the far right and ultra-Orthodox. Contrary to Netanyahu's claims, especially to the U.S. media, he did agree in coalition agreements to advance radical judicial reform, Israeli annexation of the West Bank, and legalizing discrimination against minorities. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
COVID numbers in China on the rise despite an easing of its zero COVID policies.
Because China's National Health Commission stopped publishing COVID-19 data, it's difficult to know what's really happening on the ground. As China opens its borders next week during a very busy holiday period, including the Lunar New Year next month, the fear is COVID-19 will keep spreading among the population. Health officials say that the rapid rise in cases could increase the possibility for new variants.
ABC's Lama Hassan. The U.S. is requiring a negative COVID test for travelers coming from China starting next month. This is ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? You feel like there's no way out? Get off the endless debt treadmill and start saving money each month. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Call Total Financial now at 800-208-1312. 800-208-1312.
I'm Derek Dennis.
We're off to a very cold start this morning, but I tell you what, it's going to be the last frigid morning we have for quite some time. A ridge of high pressure is building in, and that means warming. Sunny skies and milder later today, the high temperature in the lower 50s. It's cold tonight, but not nearly as cold as this morning with upper 20s to low 30s. We'll have clear sky. Tomorrow is partly to mostly sunny and warmer, the high temperature in the upper 50s to lower 60s. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
currently sunny out there and 36 degrees, warming up nicely to about 57. So it's going to be taking off a couple of layers of double layers this morning, I think, and enjoy the beautiful day at 36 degrees. Right now, 57 later, around noontime today, dropping back tonight to around 37.
It's time now for My Great America with Jim and Butch, a conversation about positive things about this great country. And now here are Jim and Butch.
Well, it's another great getting up morning in the foothills, Butch, and My Great America's on the air.
I was so happy to come in here, and it was a beautiful sunrise this morning.
I heard it was.
And, you know, Scripture tells us the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies declare the work of his hands. And here in Rutherford County, we have an incredible canvas upon which the living God paints all the time. We get beautiful seasons, colors, leaves, trees, flora, fauna, all of it. It's right here.
I get to see the sunsets a lot of times, but I rarely get to see the sunrise.
Okay, that's right, because you're up early with
I'm in the Blue Room.
You're up early in the Blue Room, and you know I'm working on an article. Richie Starnes and I have talked, so he's invited an article that I'm going to write on 7 things. You can probably look for it in the weekend edition. Ball goes through 7 things that we can be hopeful about in Rutherford County in 2023.
Be anxious to read that.
Yes, so I'm going to be working on that tonight after I get some time with a blended family and number of children that I keep me young. You know, I'd love the opportunity to do simple things that God has directed, Jim. And we're going to do something simple this morning. You know, folks, one of the things that God has really been impressing on my heart is that He made everything in creation for His purposes, and we should never neglect the seemingly little things that we can overlook. And Jim, one of those things are animals.
Yes,
are animals. And you know, I was reading some scriptures recently about that. But first, let me tell you this: many of our presidents, our leaders in America, have had pets. They've had pets that have encouraged them. I mean, the Resolute desk there in the Oval Office, there's something pastoral about the image of having a president dealing with a major foreign policy issue, dealing with some sort of domestic crisis, dealing with arguments on Capitol Hill, and there's something about the image of some little puppy right by his feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it may not be the same thing, Jim, but you've got a little puppy that consoles you and encourages you and is always there to love you, right?
Beats me at the door every night when I go home.
Right, and tell folks your puppy's name.
Misty is her name.
Misty.
And she always is the door waiting on me with that tail wagging and ready for me to rub her head and scratch her on the back. And she's happy.
And you know what? We certainly are not in some kind of a contest. That would be wrong. But I will tell you this. I have never been part of a community of faith, fellowship, or church that loves its animals more than my church, Word of Faith Fellowship. We love our animals. Why? Well, I'll talk about that in just a minute. There's scriptural support for that. But you know, when we look at the presidents, so many presidents had pets that were encouragements. But I want to focus on one real quickly, and that was Theodore Roosevelt. Very few people know this. Of all the presidents we've ever had in the United States, he had the most by far. He had 48.
Right, get it.
48 while he was president. Let me tell you what he had, Jim. He had 11 horses. He had 6 dogs. We're talking about the president of the United States. We're talking about the White House. We're talking about the leader of the free world. 11 horses, 6 dogs, 2 cats, 1 pig, 1 badger, 1 macaw, 1 bear, 1 hen, 1 rabbit, 1 lizard, 1 snake, 1 rat, flying squirrels, a rooster, a hyena, a barn owl, and 2 kangaroo rats. He had 48 pets in total.
In the White House?
Well, I guess all over, Jim, all over the place. He loved animals, and you know, we need to remember that Scripture makes it very clear that God made all the creatures on the earth, And even the verse that says, there aren't sparrows that fall without God knowing. God has an interest in his creation. You know, you think about Noah in the ark. God was purposeful in telling Noah, get 2 of every species to come on the ark. Well, if he didn't care about animals, he just would have said, let's just wipe the slate clean. But that did not happen. So Scripture is replete. All you have to do is go in and Google Bible verses about God's love for animals, and you will find lots and lots and lots of verses. So today, and by the way, we have a couple of little expressions. This is a cat, and this is a squirrel here. I'm actually going to give these to Tracy to give to her 2 granddaughters when we're done.
They'll love those.
When we're done today. And I love the wide-eyed expressions with children when it comes to animals. But I want to talk today about something we can be really proud of, and something I want you to get behind and support that's here locally, and it's the Red Bell Run Sanctuary that's in Columbus. And I want to tell you this, God gives us new friendships, new relationships, and I'm really grateful. It started out a little rocky, but I'm really grateful for a relationship that I have with Nick and Joni Carney.
Yes.
They are dear, dear friends. He's a brother to me. She's a sister to me. And I want to let you know that at 11 o'clock today, be in prayer if you're a person of prayer, because they have to euthanize a miniature horse named Twinkle at 11 a.m. today. Much beloved. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this, and then I'm going to encourage you to make a gift, if it's on your heart to do so, to that sanctuary. This is a note that went out from their director. Let me just tell you real quickly about the Red Bell Run. The sanctuary at Red Bell Run is home to special needs equines. These are horses that have special needs, those with medical or behavioral issues that make them unadoptable. So in other words, they're the rejects, they're the discards, they're the odd ones. Many times our residents are able to have a good quality of life with managed care that other organizations may not be able to provide due to staffing or financial restrictions. We strive to give each horse, mule, or donkey we care for the things that they lack before coming to Red Bell Run. We do a lot of things here, but at the sanctuary, the most important thing we do is simply love them. They come here in need. We fulfill as many of those needs as we can. And of course, their mission is to rescue abused, neglected, or at-risk equines, horses in that breed, and other animals, offering rehabilitation and permanent placement, including lifelong sanctuary. We foster the animal-human bond through empathy building, community assistance, educational, and therapeutic programs right here in Columbus, and it's regarded regionally and even with some people nationally, Jim.
And what's the name of it again?
Red Bell Run.
Red Bell Run.
Red Bell Run, and I'm gonna give you this website because I'm gonna encourage you at the end to look them up. It's incredible the work they're doing right here in the region. It's www.redbellrun, redbellrun.org, www.redbellrun.org. It's at 385 Blackwood Road in Columbus, North Carolina. Now, this precious little miniature horse that I wish you could see pictures of, you can if you go to their website. This is the note that the director put out just this week, and at 11 a.m. today, the vet will come and euthanize Twinkle. So keep them in prayer. Good afternoon, everyone. This is never the message we wanted to send. Twinkle, Little Star, our miniature horse with dwarfism, and the princess of the Mini Heaven Barn. They have different barns with names. Mini Heaven Barn has been struggling lately with her limbs and hooves. A recent vet visit revealed that Twinkle now has significant tendon and ligament loss. Dr. Emily spoke with Mary this afternoon. Mary's the director, and is worried that with the loss of tendons and ligaments, Twinks is in danger of breaking her leg, which is the last thing we want. She's recommending that we let Twinkle go this week, and that will happen, folks, in an hour and 45 minutes. For those of you who know Twinkle, you know that it's not within her personality to tolerate any type of leg wrap. She's not comfortable anymore, and we never want our equines to be in pain. We have to do the right thing for Twinkle, even though it hurts our hearts so incredibly much. Twinkle is 18 years old. That's about a decade longer than most miniature dwarf horses live. She has lived a wonderful life. Twinkle belonged to her previous owner, who was a paraplegic. From the time she was 5 months old, she not only worked as a service animal, but over the years logged thousands of miles as a therapy animal, visiting nursing homes, schools, children's hospitals with the Give Kids a Smile program. So she was a minister. She was a ministering miniature horse. Here at Red Bell Run, she loves being a part of the Reading with Rescues children's program. She definitely earned her spoiled retirement here. We will miss her and her sweet and sour personality so much. Twinkle will be buried here at a forever home next to her friends Ollie and Phoebe in the Memorial Garden. A state of the angel is the centerpiece, and we like to think that our equine spirits fly about Red Bell Run in joy and peace, free of pain and suffering. Please keep our staff and other volunteers in your thoughts this week. If you have a favorite photo or memory of Twinkle, I encourage you to share. Isn't that touching?
That is touching. That's unusual to have that kind of center so close here to home.
It's right here, and it is a regarded nonprofit. They do not spend a lot on overhead. It's one of those things where when you make a gift, you get what's called in the philanthropic world a pure play. I mean, a significant percentage of your money is going right to what you believe it needs to go to. So keep them in prayer at 11 a.m. today. I spoke to Joni this morning, and she was tearful and emotional and grieving. But I reminded her that it says in Scripture that we're not to grieve as the world grieves. And if we let ourselves get stuck in our mind with a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, I wish I'd done, that's the devil's playground. And so we have to, when we grieve, we have to grieve the way God's called us to, and it's not as the world grieves. I mean, we will miss people, we will miss animals, but we've got to remember not to let ourselves open up a door for all kinds of dark and negative, despairing things, which sometimes happen when people pass away that are in our lives too.
And animals mean so much to a lot of people too. That's part of the family for many, and it is a sad loss to have to see them buried and no longer around to be friendly to.
Right, and it caused me to remember my pet experiences in life, which I'll quickly summarize. Okay, so the first dog that we had in Newport News, Virginia, was a poodle. You know, I think I told you this before. One time I was on Tammy Baker, Jim Baker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, people know who that is. Well, they had a little children's program on a UHF station. WYAH, which was the precursor to CBN, Pat Roberts to CBN. Most people don't know that Jim and Tammy Baker were there with Pat right at the beginning. And they had a children's program called the Jim and Tammy Show. And so one time they invited parents to have children come with their pets. And I may have shared this story before. So there we are. I'm on the Jim and Tammy Show. This was in the early 60s, sometime in the 60s. And so we're all there, and Jim and Tammy were going around saying, "What's your name?" And so the girl would say, "Well, my name's Sally, and what's your dog?" And she would say her dog. "What's your name?" My name's Bill, and what's your dog?" "A German Shepherd." "What's your name?" "My name's Butch, and what's your dog?" "A miniature poodle." And my mom had a pink bow in its hair, and I still remember that, Jim. It wasn't a hit, but it was kind of like, there are big dogs here, and I got my little dog. But we loved Henry. Henry was a sweet, sweet animal, and tragically was killed by a car. Got out one day. Then we had a dog named JJ. It was a standard size poodle. My mother in particular liked poodles. Big poodle. JJ was very undisciplined and dealt with chronic incontinence, and so that was the situation. Then we went from that to birds. We had a parakeet named Pete, and Pete developed a tumor on his beak. And I remember one day my brother came in and said Pete croaked, and so Pete died. But Pete was wonderful. Come out, fly, land on your shoulder on the table. And then years later, after I got married, we had 4 children. Our daughter Mackenzie wanted a rabbit, and we were in a season of life where everything seemed to be extreme. It wasn't God's plan, but it wasn't just enough for it to be a rabbit. It had to be like a registered rabbit. It was named Nicolette, And when we lived in Coppell, Texas, outside of Dallas, one day Nicolette got out and decided it wanted to live underneath the deck. It didn't want to live inside anymore. So that became a whole situation. Then we went to Colorado Springs, and we had a little dog, a little registered Yorkshire Terrier named Tressa. And Tressa loved everybody in the family, but had some issues with me, Jim. So that's my quick history. How about you?
Excuse me. I mentioned why she had issues with you.
I think that's longer than the program time that we have.
We had pets all my life.
You did?
My parents loved pets. They did not have them as house dogs. We were always outside. We always fed them. Always loved on them. But since I've been married and had children, we've had pets and we let them in the house most of the time. And we've lost a lot of pets over the years.
You have?
Yeah, we've lost.
How did you handle that with your children? Did it happen with your children?
Yes,
How did you handle that?
Well, it was a sad time, emotional time because the dogs, most of the dogs were their pets. They claimed them, and of course we became attached to them as well. And a couple of them got run over, and then we had some who just died of heart problems, old age, and we'd bury them. We have field in the back where we have a lot of pets buried back there over the years, and it was always a sad time. And my daughter, who had a dog named Princess, had it from a pup, and she was very attached to it. And of course, she went away to college, and she became our dog then after she went away to college, and we had to put her down because she got like they're having to put the pony down today.
Right.
Best of things is to just let him go, and so. Karen wanted to do that, so she was there with us when we put her down. So.
It's a good life lesson. It's a good life lesson because even for those of us that are humans, we forget that Scripture makes it very clear. It's appointed unto everybody once to die, and of course after that the judgment. It's one of the reasons why we want to be ready when Jesus comes or when it's time for us and our mortal life to be over, Jim. But God's given us pets and animals as an expression of his love and care and compassion. And I have seen pets, service dogs. You think of service dogs and the incredible help that they are to people that are physically or emotionally infirmed. I remember all the times I used to go and visit my dad in nursing homes because of his long-term neurological illness, Huntington's disease. Yeah, I would sometimes see people that would come in to somebody in a nursing or assisted living center with an animal, and just like a baby does something for somebody that's confined to a bed, I would watch the incredible warmth and joy that would spring up in somebody. It's almost like a dead limb would have a new green sprig come out when an animal would come, because so often they love unconditionally, they're there, they're loyal, all those things. And so God gave us animals, I believe, as an expression of his love and care for us.
My mother never really got attached to them. She loved them and cared for them and made sure they protected and fed them, but she never was one to, love on them and pet on them until she was in the hospital, and they brought in one of those service dogs to her room, and the dog walked up, kind of a tall dog, walked up, put her head over on the bed beside of my mom. My mom reached over, started petting her and talking to her like a little child. So they do have that kind of encouragement.
They are just so precious. And again, Scripture is filled with examples. In Psalm 147:9, it says, "He gives to the beast its food, and to the young ravens which cry." Or Deuteronomy 25:4, "You shall not muzzle the ox while he is threshing." Or Luke 12:6, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 cents, yet not one of them is forgotten before God." God knows and cares. Genesis 9:9 and 10, "Now behold, I myself do establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you, and," this is God, "and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that comes out of the ark, with every beast of the earth." Or Job 38:41, "Who prepares for the raven its nourishment when the young cry to God and wander about without food?" Or finally, Psalm 36:6, "Your righteousness is like the mountains of God. Your judgments are like a great deep. O Lord, you preserve man and beast." Yeah, God cares. God cares about animals. And so I want to encourage you today, if you're a person of prayer, keep Red Bell Run in your thoughts and prayers today at 11. It's a time of passing. It's a time of change that's there. I want to encourage you to go out there and take a visit. I've not had a chance to do it, but I'm hoping to do that maybe on Saturday. And as a quick reminder, I just want to tell you, all you have to do to learn more about the organization is to go to their website. And, of course, that's easy to do. It's www.redbellrun.org. It's at 385 Blackwood Road in Columbus, North Carolina. Now, when you go to their website, one of the interesting things is they have named barns with different names, and they also have a gallery where you can get to know some of the community there, some of the animals there. So if you're looking for a positive thing to do with your children, make sure you call ahead. I don't know their hours necessarily. If you're looking for a positive thing to do with your children, it's a beautiful place, I can tell from the website. I'm going to make it a point to try to go, if God directs me to do that on Saturday. But do be in prayer at 11 o'clock today, especially as they euthanize little Twinkle.
It's a special kind of person that takes on a life like that to care for animals and to have a place where they can come, particularly misunfortunate animals. Right. But to care for animals like that, it's a special kind of person.
God calls us to be compassionate and merciful and kind. You know, when we look at the fruits of the Spirit, we need to remember it includes a long list, but you cannot claim to follow Jesus if you're not compassionate, you're not loving, you're not kind, you're not merciful, you're not forgiving. All of these things and more are expressions of the Spirit of God at work in us. And, you know, if it's the homeless person, if it's an elderly person that's feeling detached and lonely, if it's an animal that has no home or hope, all of these are opportunities for us to let the living God work through us with other people. Now, you know, in the spirit of that, we're going to do a giveaway right here at the end of our program time. We don't have much time, so if you're going to call, you need to get your phone right now because we're going to give away something very special. My friend Joni Carney makes incredible different jellies, yes, and jams, and preserves. This is from Joni's Kitchen. It's cran pepper jelly. It's unbelievably good. I've had it. It's incredible. We're going to give it away in just a second here. Get ready to call. But the thing that I love is, you know, we had a rocky start. Mm-hmm. We had a rocky start in what is now a deep and incredibly beautiful friendship. She's put on her labels now, love never fails, and it doesn't. So, Jim, let's do a giveaway here.
Call 287-3356, 287-3356, and be caller number 4, 287-3356, caller number 4, and this absolutely is a fantastic jelly.
Right, and it's going to be here. You'll pick it up. You will not want to miss it. The number again is
287-3356.
287-3356. Caller number 4. Call right now. We don't have much time left in the program. You know, Jim, as we come to the end of this year, because it'll be the new year when we're back here on Tuesday, I was telling Tracy, I spoke to Richie Starnes, the editor of the Daily Courier, this morning, and I'm going to be writing an article on 7 things that we can, I think it'll be in the weekend edition of the Daily Courier, so pick it up if you'd like to. It's going to be on the 7 things we can be hopeful about and for in 2023 in Rutherford County. In the midst of so much negative news, God's got a plan. He's not surprised by anything. He has a purpose for our life. We need to make sure that we're hearing his voice and doing his will each and every day. But we're going to have a wonderful 2023. And you and I are going to be arm in arm as we walk into the new year. And, of course, we've got some transitions that are still underway and in the works, and I'm sure you'll have some updates on that. But I am really looking forward to what I know is going to be a year of God's incredible love and care.
I'm looking for a great year. I'm looking forward to reading your article that's going to be in the paper about those things.
God bless America, Jim.
God bless America.
Make sure you check out Red Bell Run, www.redbellrun.org. Make a gift if you can.
Let me see real quick. I thought she had a winner, but we'll announce that next time.
Great. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for joining us for My Great America with Jim and Butch. Join us each Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:05 for this enlightening program on 100.9 FM and 590 AM. It's My Great America with Jim and Butch.